We are back live with another Between the Pages book chat, and today our guest is author Thomas K. Davis, who writes sci-fi, and he's here to talk about his series, Versatile Layer. I hope I got that right.
You got it right.
Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to him and let him introduce himself. So take it away.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Thomas K. Davis. I'm the author of the Versatile Layer book series. It's a sci-fi space opera series. I've been writing it since about 2017. It's very character focused space adventure taking place over the course of about 10 to 15 years.
Okay, so give us a little overview of what's going on and, where the setting is, that sort of thing.
Okay, so the setting is a solar system orbiting this star called Sekhmet. And basically, you have two cultures that are in conflict. You have the human culture, or the Terrans, who live in 13 space colonies, and the space colonies are they're spheres with cities inside of them, and the cities on the outside of the sphere, and the sky's at the center. And the aliens, the Arez, are from a world called Samael, and it's a tropical world with heavy gravity, and they're a warrior race. And basically, they've been in conflict for hundreds of years, off and on.
Interesting. So, you said the colonies were spheres with the cities are on the outside and the skies in the middle. That's an interesting concept. How
Yeah,
did you decide on that?
I just thought this the idea of of looking up into the sky and seeing, like, looking through the cloud, you can see a faint image of a city on the other side. So you're inside of this spherical environment, and the entire environment's a city with, like, just parks and like forest areas also. But if you kind of like I think I was inspired a bit by Inception, the idea of a city just twisting up in a circle, and you look up and you see a city above you that's looking back down at you.
Yeah, that's very
And
cool.
there's even a part in the first book where our main character Jake Takeda, while he's in high school, there's an area on the colony called Nowhere, and basically what happens there is they can't accurately reproduce gravity everywhere on the station. So there's little spots where gravity is lighter than it's supposed to be. So he goes to this spot. It's like a spot that most of the kids on the space station go to, where you can jump higher than normal. So if you jump high enough, you can get about 50 feet in the air and float back down because of the irregular gravity. And at one point, when he's with an alien girl, she's strong enough to grab him, jump up, and jump clear to the other side of the colony, so through the sky, and land on the other side.
Oh, that is cool.
Because the Arez, the aliens, they're like way stronger, and they're physically superior to humans, stronger, faster. And actually, a versatile layer is an exosuit that human soldiers wear, like that, well, specialized human soldiers wear, so they can physically compete with Arez warriors.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the characters. What are they like? Their personalities.
Okay, so there's two main characters in Versatile Layer. The first character is Jake Takeda. He's a human kid. He's half Japanese, half African. But by this point in the future, they don't even classify race anymore. Everybody's pretty much just, your ethnic background doesn't really matter to anyone. And he's from a colony called Lhasa, and basically he's a really nervous, self-centered. He's a really nervous, self-aware kid, the genius level IQ. And over the course of the first story, he finds his father works in a salvage yard. He finds a space pod in his father's salvage yard and opens it by accident. And within is our second main character, Adiola Infalm, and she's an Arez princess that somehow got into that pod. And over the course of the story, they build a bond, and by the end of the first book, they're separated and they go their separate ways. And the rest of the book is them trying to find each other again. So Jake, so later on, Jake's a soldier with a genius level IQ, and Adiola, she goes on her own journey to kind of make her race more peaceful people, try to change the way they view themselves in the world, because they're kind of violent people.
Yeah, I noticed on the Amazon that the series seemed to alternate between the characters for each book? Was that a deliberate choice, or did it just sort of work out that way?
It kind of worked out that way. When I first started the series, it was going to mainly focus on Jake, but while writing uh, while writing book one, I the character of Adiola started to grow so much and become so interesting that by the time I got to the third book, I was like, well, she needs her own side of the story, just to tell the story of what she's going through during this 10-year period before they come back into contact. So yeah, and she really exploded as a character. Like she's writing for Adiola is really fun because she's one of those characters where she's an expert fighter. She's the best fighter on her planet, but she has this code never to kill because she killed someone in her youth. So she's a person with the power to kill anyone, but she's restricted by her own code not to actually go that far. And it comes to point. It actually gets to the point. It gets to a point a few times where killing's the only option, but she won't go there.
Okay, so what were your reasons or your inspirations for writing the series?
Always been a big fan of science fiction and anime. Anime is a big love of mine, and I wanted to actually after I saw the movie Last Jedi, I was really inspired to write my own series. I had the idea for it for years, but it wasn't until after I saw that movie that I really wanted to just sit down and try it out. And so I jotted down my ideas and I found an editor on Fiverr because I just had like I was started to write the book, but I had no idea what I was doing. So I just wrote down everything that was just popping into my head, sent it to an editor, and what I got back was like the format and the framework of how to actually make it into a book. So once I got that framework, I was like, oh, okay, this is how it works. I was able to continue from there.
Hmm, interesting. So, what kind of an antagonist does the series have? Is it like sort of the war is what the conflict it causes the conflict, or is there some sort of a big bad going through the series?
There's several antagonists. Each book has its own antagonist. Um, One antagonist is a black is a shadowy operative named Simon Morrissey, who's very odd and very he's kind of a neat freak. Then you have on Adiola's side, the main adversary is this woman warrior named Mega, who's large and very physically powerful. One thing I do when I write my antagonists is I make them sympathetic. So every villain is just someone who doesn't know how to process their own pain. They're interacting with the world in a way that's unhealthy. So that's the method I go through when I present a villain on the page. Like Mega, like her main drive is she's this powerful warrior and she's very fearsome, but she's also very sensitive. Like so, she wears her armor to protect herself because she's trying to put distance between her and other people by doing what she does.
Oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Actual armor is sort of an armor against the world, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's
She armors herself. She even wears like this scary mask. Actually, I have the picture of her right here. This is her on the book of my latest book, The Bulletless Revolution. This just came out.
oh, well, that's a nice cover.
Thank you. It's done by a Venezuelan artist named Magasama. I found her on Instagram. She's an awesome artist. She's actually she just redid the cover for my fourth book, The Daughters of Death. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's when she got it done, I was blown away by how it came out. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on here.
We'll give it a
Ah,
shot.
oop,
Oh, we get a little of it.
a little bit of it. It's really hard to see. Oh,
Yeah,
there
you can
we
see
go.
the colors though. The colors. Oh, there it is. That is gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really impressive work.
yeah, yeah. I love I love a good cover on the book. So.
Yeah, I did
But
some of my own covers, but they didn't come out as good as that. But
yeah,
the graphic design I do myself.
Yeah, I do my own covers. I'm pretty good at it now, but some
Yeah,
of my early stuff, yeah, 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 that's not good.
I actually
So,
have do I still have it on here? I have an example of what I sent her to get that done, and it looks, yeah, here it is. This is the image that I drew to
well, that's not that bad.
yeah, it's not that bad, but I can't draw like realistic faces like that, and
Oh
I can't
yeah,
shade like that. That shading is incredible.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Faces are hard to get. You the proportion. If you don't get the proportions right, they look weird.
Yeah, I love to draw faces, but yeah, my color theory is just nowhere near what she's putting out.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I do pretty good is the
Okay,
colors.
maybe I gotta find you for my next cover.
Well, actually, it's strange you should do that because I'm actually uh, putting out a pre-made cover book site, and if I can get the bureaucracy figured out soon. But
Okay.
anyway, but back to your book and not my stuff. What is the was the hardest scene or type of scene for you to write?
Um, can't really think of the hardest scene. There's a few scenes where I actually teared up a little bit. And you know you're doing a good job. You can make yourself cry a little bit, then you definitely can affect the reader. I think it's in book one. There's a scene where I see that would be hard to explain without actually reading the book. This is tricky
Yeah, I know.
because like to explain like the emotional why the scene is emotional and why it works, you have to actually read through the book to get to it and actually have the frame of reference for it.
Yeah, but it's the emotional scene that got you, the emotionality of it.
Yeah, and there's even a scene with Mega where she has a very emotional moment, a few in the books, which is what I like about writing villains because you're digging into their psychology as well because they're actual people.
Okay, so was your favorite scene or favorite type of scene that you wrote in the series?
Let me see. What's something? In book four, there is starts off with this large battle scene, and during the battle scene, they're fighting this group of warriors called the Daughters of Death because the Arez military is mostly female because the male birth rate on their world is so low that they mainly send out women for war, and the only men that are allowed on the front lines are like specialists, people with like really with a ridiculously high set of skills. So in this book, I have my main team, the strike team, Jake's friends. They're on the front lines and they're facing like two of the Daughters of Death, and it's just you set up the scenario, you write the problems and your problems they have to overcome into the scene, and then you let them work out the solutions to the problems. You kind of like you write yourself into a wall, and then you write yourself out of the wall without cheating. That's the funnest part of writing. Like when you write yourself to a point where it's like, okay, how am I going to get out of this?
Yeah, I've been
And
there.
yeah, it works because you figure out how to get out of it.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the best part. You're right. It,
Yeah, and you notice, and
really,
you can see when people don't find their ways out of it because you see like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
yeah, yeah. That's why I write fantasy though, because you've always got the out. Oh, it's just magic.
Yeah, magic can cover a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
But the fun thing about writing fantasy worlds and stuff like that is the rules that you have to set for yourself within the world so that it doesn't seem like, oh, we just magicked our way out of it. It's just like,
yeah,
no, this works because the rules of the magic say that this can work if you apply the rules in this specific way.
yeah. Yeah. Even with magic, you have rules.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any quirky secondary characters that like to steal the scenes from the main characters?
I have there's Edith Fafner. She's a sniper with a cybernetic left eye. She's really sassy. She wears a red crochet hat into battle instead of a helmet because she's that stubborn. Yeah, and whenever she's on screen, she really chews the scenery, and it steals the spotlight. And who else? Why am I drawing such a blank right now? Once you get the camera, start to draw a blank.
Don't worry about it. I mean, I've drawn blank on
Yeah.
on some questions when I've been asked to. It's just the way your brain works sometimes. I tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your characters afraid of?
In the first book, Jake's major fear was death. Like he was pretty obsessed with it. One part of the book is the humans in this society in this future, they don't have a concept of God anymore, but they do have a technology called the Shangri-La Ghost Server. It's a basically it's a virtual heaven that during the course of your day you wear a device on your wrist called a Navi, and you tap the Navi to you tap it 3 times to upload your memories to the server. And in the event of your death, your memories, if you're a good person, your memories are activated on the server, and you live out your existence in a virtual heaven. So basically, in the first book, Jake is constantly tapping his wrist to upload his memories to the server, even when he wakes up in the morning, even when he hasn't created any new memories. He's constantly uploading his memories to the server because he's so afraid of losing anything and dying unexpectedly. I think Adiola, we pretty much said her fear is killing another person because she's done it in the past and she had to deal with that. So that's her major fear, and that's her main driving force throughout the books. How to resolve situations without using all the power that's at her command.
Okay, so you write sci-fi, of course. Are there
Mhm.
any other genres that you'd like to try or have tried?
Right now, I'm bouncing around an idea for a comedy book, like kind of like a dark comedy about vampires. I was thinking about calling it "Bored to Death." So yeah, I've been tossing around that idea. The only reason I haven't started yet because I haven't figured out how it's supposed to end yet. Because mainly my process is I don't write in a linear way. I write beginning and I write the end, and then I fill in the middle and figure out the middle as I go along. So I haven't figured out the end yet, so I haven't figured out how to start it yet.
Yeah, I do the same thing, and sometimes it's very difficult to fill in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing with Versatile Layer series, I've been living in that universe for so long, and I know every aspect of it, and from the very beginning, I knew exactly what the end of book 9 was going to be. So now it's kind of like running around with no parachute. It's kind of I have no instructions right now on how to get started or how to finish.
Okay, so I think we'll wrap it up there, and I'll let you tell everyone where they can find you and your books.
Okay, you can find my work on Amazon. Just search Versatile Layer. You can also find me. You can also go to my website, which is versatile-layer.com/books. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Umoji Legend, UMIJO U. Why can't I spell LEN Legend? And yeah, that's about it. Just find those links, and I'll be there.
Okay, I've also linked the series down in the description if you want to check out his books, and they do look interesting. So feel free to check them out. And I'd like to thank you for being here today. It's a pleasure chatting
Thank
with you.
you.
And Between the Pages Book Chat, we'll be back next weekend with 2 more authors. So join us then. Bye for now.
Bye.